Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Knesset coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 31st day of October in the year 2023. Sure hope you're enjoying your Tuesday, no matter where it is you are in the country. Nice little chilly day here in the Northeast on Halloween, but I hope you're all enjoying the day today. And we've got a lot to get to, so I'm going to get right into it, starting with this story that is sort of still developing. The boy that you see on the screen here, his name is Derek Estrella. He's 16 years old, and he is a student at Nutley High School. Well, what it turns out is on Friday afternoon, he left school to go for lunch, and he never returned to school, and he has been missing ever since, and the Nutley police are trying to find his whereabouts. What it seems happened is that there was a transfer of custody at some point of the boy, and one of the people who is involved may have helped him to get out of the area. But I don't believe the person who helped him to get out of the area has full custody of him. So there's all this that's going on, but there's no indication as to where he may be. However, police believe that he's probably in the area because the person he was with does not have a vehicle or a driver's license. So hopefully he will be found. But have you seen him? This is Derek Estrella. Again, he's 16 years old. He is a student at Nutley High School, and he has not been seen since Friday afternoon when he left school to go for lunch, but then never returned. So Nutley police are looking for his whereabouts. If you know where he is, please call Nutley police or 911 to report a sighting. But we just don't know where he is right now. But that's him right there, Derek Estrella, 16 years old, a resident of Nutley. More than likely, he is in the Nutley area right now. So hopefully police will be able to find him. Sorry, terrible situation there. Before we move on, I want to welcome in my dear friend Carmen. Carmen, thank you for popping by as you do every week. I am very, very grateful to you for that. Now, before we get to the actual newspaper, this is something that developed overnight on Monday, and we didn't have enough time to get it into the newspaper, but this happened on Sunday, or maybe it was Saturday, in Kearney, and it's a really fortunate thing that nobody was more seriously hurt than was the case in this particular incident. And what it turns out is that a gentleman had his car impounded for whatever the reason. I don't know the reason, it doesn't matter, but when you have your car impounded, they take the vehicles to the lot at Moran Towing. And apparently this guy decided that he was going to go to the Moran Towing lot and just break the car out on his own without paying the impound fees or whatever else was required before he could get the vehicle out of the lot. And he drove off the lot through a fence, a locked fence on Moran's property, and up, I think it's Arlington Avenue, and then made a turn on to Schuyler Avenue. Now, here's the thing. As he was driving out of Moran's property, he almost struck a police officer. And then when he was on Schuyler Avenue, he went head-on into a vehicle that was being driven by a Kearney police officer. And that police officer, I'm happy to say, is doing okay today. He was in the hospital on Saturday night, but he has been released. But was hit head on, and he was in a stationary position. He was not driving, and he thought he was going to stop, and maybe this guy would stop, but he went into the oncoming lane of traffic and went head on into him. Fortunately, this guy, although it took a while for him to surrender, is behind bars. He is facing a slew of charges, and he was not on remand. I think he was denied bail, too, if I'm not mistaken, and good, because when you commit aggravated assault on a police officer, there is no reason for you to be out from being behind bars, and this guy really could have killed a number of people, let alone the poor officer who was injured pretty seriously over the weekend. Now, I'm told the injuries, there's nothing permanent, so he should be able to return to police work. Just don't know when, but he is alive, thank God. But this is one of those situations that could have been so much worse. Can you imagine that now? Just stupid. Thinking you're going to be able to break out of a car impound lot, drive away, and be unscathed. I mean, what an absolute buffoon to do something so stupid. And fortunately, though, there were so many Kearney officers in the area that they were able to apprehend him. After, of course, no shock there, he refused initially to give himself up. But fortunately, he's in custody and behind bars at the Hudson County Jail in South Kearney now. I welcome in my dear friend Carol Manley, my birthday sister. We were born on the same day, the 21st night of September, and that, of course, became a very, very popular song, as you all know. Why am I escaping the name of the group that sang that song? But Earth, Wind, and Fire, that's it. September is the name of the song. But we share that birthday. She and Mom, June Hearn, are watching the broadcast together, so I'm glad they're together. And I'm glad to be in your living room today, no matter where it is you are. So thank you for popping on, Carol Manley. Now, I'm going to take this off the screen right now, and we're going to go into some of the stories that were in the newspaper this week. It was a very different type of newspaper this week because there's a lot of election stuff happening, as you know. The election is 1 week from today. The election that pits together three candidates who are seeking the mayoralty, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But that is the race between Pete Santana, Carol Jean Doyle, and Sid Ferreira. We'll get into that in a minute. I wanted to show you this picture of Beverly Brachocki. She is a resident of the town of Kearney. Over the weekend was Drug Take-Back Day by the DEA, and Adriano Marks sent me this photo over of Beverly depositing her unwanted medications. Now, this happens twice a year, once in October and then probably in the spring as well. But Adriano and the community policing unit were all on hand to welcome a lot of people who showed up at police headquarters to discard their unwanted medications. And the CPU, Community-Oriented Police Unit, does a phenomenal job, whether it's Ryan Brady, Vanessa Sevillano, Jack Grimm, Adriano, and I know I'm forgetting somebody, so I apologize. I didn't mean to, but I think I might have covered everybody right there. But they all do a great job. They had this event on Saturday, and don't forget, though, I'm not sure if you can see it, but on the left side of the photo is an old mailbox. So if you need to discard old medications, you can do that anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at the Kearney Police Department at 237 Laurel Avenue. But this is something that they do twice a year through the DEA, and they get the medication out of the headquarters right away. So thank you, Adriano, for sharing this, and to the COP unit for pulling this all together twice a year, as you do each and every year. We welcome in, speaking of mayors, the former mayor of the town of Kearney, Kenny Lindenfelser Sr. Kenny, good to see you. Hope that you are doing well down in Florida. Please give our best to your lovely wife, Ann, and we hope to see you when you get up here. Hopefully, maybe even for the parade in March, right? We never know. I hope that is certainly something that happens. And we also welcome in Melanie Ryan, who is watching us, I'm sure, from Kearney as well. Melanie, thank you very much for popping on, too. We are very appreciative for your efforts all the time as well, Melanie. Now, I'm going to go in reverse order here. Josh Humphrey was the very first friend I made in Kearney when I moved here in 1985. I was 11 years old. And so I take great pride in sharing that Josh Humphrey was the first friend I made here, and now he's the director of the Kearney Library. And when we say he's doing a good job, I'm not just blowing smoke, and it's not just because he was the first friend I made, but everything he does is great in Kearney. And now they're going to be putting on this edition at the branch library up at the corner of Stuyvesant and Kearney Avenue. And this project is going to be paid for. It's almost $500,000, and it's going to be paid completely by reserve funds that they have saved over the last decade. So not only does Josh run a phenomenal library, he is a smart economic person as well, where he has budgeted beautifully and has been able to do so many different things at the library. And when you see these blueprints for the branch library add-on, it is absolutely stunning. And I want you to see it's right here on page 1, as you can see right here, but also on the inside of this week's edition of the Observer. You'll be able to see them all. So great job by Josh Humphrey getting this all put together and seeing it all through to fruition. It's a phenomenal undertaking, and Josh has done all of us proud, and I'm very, very honored to call him the first friend I ever met when I moved here all those years ago, 38 years ago. Now, the secondary story on the front page this week was about the council meeting on Tuesday of last week, 1 week ago today. Folks, there's no debating it that there is a split and a fracture on the town council. And the meeting was very, very reminiscent last week of what life was like back in the 1990s, where there was boisterousness and chaos and a lot of shouting, I guess would be the word. But I'm going to be honest with you, all of the gripes that the residents had, including the aforementioned Melanie Ryan and Angela Kolbinger, seemed to be pretty legitimate. But it was an absolute reminder of what it was like many, many years ago, and how things have changed so dramatically leading up to this election 1 week from today. So look at that meeting when you get a chance. It's on the carneynj.org website. Watch it. Watch it from start to finish. And tell me that this election coming up 1 week from today isn't one of the most important in the history of this town, because that's exactly what it is. And you will see that 1 week from today when people head to the polls. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we didn't have a winner by the time that election is done at 8 p.m. that night. So see what happens. But truthfully, this is going to be something. But that meeting 1 week ago today was just, I don't know some of the words to describe it, because I hadn't seen it in 27 years, to be perfectly frank. And it was very, very interesting, to say the least. So take a look at it for yourself. You make the decisions on your own, but hopefully things will calm down and once the election is over. But up until this point, that was pretty boisterous. We welcome in Martin Gorski, formerly of Kearney, who is visiting us today from Ridgeville, South Carolina. Thank you very much, Martin. I haven't seen you in a long time, so hope you are doing well. So I used to chat with Martin once in a while on social media. Melanie Ryan says, I was never quiet. I don't think anybody ever accused you of trying to be quiet, Mel. So I don't think that's an issue at hand. But thank you for reminding everybody that you were never quiet. You certainly weren't at that council meeting. And I think you may have gotten your message across, as I'm sure Angela did as well. And Carol Manley has with her the thumbs up. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Observer Live. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me. Thank you for coming late today. I don't know what happened to me earlier today, but I was enjoying lunch, and then I guess I got something lodged in my esophagus or something somewhere, and just picture trying to burp and not being able to do that. That's what happened. So something was lodged in my throat or whatever, and it was just wild. So it threw me off for a little bit, and that's why I didn't get to come on the air till 1:45. I hope I never go through something like this again. It was not very pleasant. So I apologize for being late, and I thank you all for coming at this late hour. We will be back 1 week from today. I don't know if we're going to have a live broadcast in the afternoon on Tuesday because it's election day, but I will be out and about covering the election most of the day. I don't know where I'm going to be when the results come in, and I don't know if those results are going to be anything final, no matter what they are. But we will do our best to let you know, if you're not able to make it to any of the camps, who won the election. if we know who won the election 1 week from today. So I don't know. Maybe I'll come to you live with my phone. I'll maybe from the studio. I have no idea, but we're gonna judge that based on how the results come in and things of that nature. But we will have as much information for you as we can on election night. So be sure to join us on our social media platforms where these live broadcasts will go out. So that's YouTube, that's Facebook, that's Twitter, or X, whatever they call it, and Twitch. We will be on all of those on election night, bringing you the results on who Kearney's new mayor is. And before I go out, we'll say good afternoon to Larry Hanlon, and also to my longtime buddy, Tony Marinero, who's here with us, too. It's been a great Devil season already. I mean, that's as good as it is, even though they've lost twice, but they still look pretty damn good. So from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, Kevin Knessa is signing off for now. We'll be back later this week if anything happens, but if not, we will see you on Election Day 1 week from today. And remember, get out and vote. There's no excuse, especially if you complain all the time. Get out and vote. No excuses. We'll see you next week, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.